What a day. This one was interesting. Got to do my recap video when I was unloading, and then the property owner came out and talked to me, so I just unloaded. And I'm doing it in the car. So let's see. Cold day today, northwest wind. This morning it was a lot more calm than it forecasted. It was projected to have like 14 mile an hour winds. Northwest winds. It was chilly this morning. It was 21 degrees. That's the coldest so far this year. I decided to hunt a new area. I read an article this week when you're getting in there trying to hunt, not seeing anything, and last night I didn't really see anything. They said just change it up. So I changed it up. So went on the far east side, kind of by the creek, and got camped in there. Sunrise was at 7. I got in about, what time was it? So first light was 6:30, so I got in at like just at 5:30, maybe a tick later than I wanted to, but I was trying to find my hand warmers this morning, and I over-organized because I don't remember where I put them, but I had them, so I got my hand warmers in my muff to get my hands warm. Sat in there. It was about 8 a.m. I told myself I was going to, if I didn't see anything, because I didn't see anything all the way up until about 8 o'clock. But I told myself if 8:30 I'm going to go do some stock hunting. And I was going to go into this north corner, which I've never really been in before. I've been on this property hundreds of times. Never been in that north corner. 8 o'clock comes around, and up out of the creek to the north of me, there's a good sized buck that came out of there. Pretty mature looking, from what I could see. I noticed his rack coming out, so it looked like a big 8-pointer, maybe a little bigger than that, but pretty mature. And so I was getting ready, get my bow up and everything, because I thought he'd come back down the path and head south, but he didn't. He went north, and I didn't see him again. So then at that point, I'm like, all right, I see a mature buck. Let's just do something. So I went to the east across the creek. I thought about going down in the creek, but there's enough water in there and thorns and stuff. It would have been too tricky. So I instead went over the creek and went to the very edge of the property line and started following that up and kind of scouted up towards the north, and we're glassing up to the north, trying to keep an eye on everything there. I got set up there. I don't know, it must have been burning calories today or something, because I was starving, and I decided like I need to just take a break, because I probably took 30 minutes to get up in there. Got up into this little corner high spot where I could see down, and something did kind of spook. I think it kind of saw me. I didn't know what I was. It was a ways away. It was probably a good 100 yards away, but it had good sight lines to where I was at, and it just kind of slowly bound off. And I saw the white tail. So there was definitely deer in there. I don't think it was the buck. I really don't. I think it was a doe bedded in there. Anyway, so honestly, I just chilled out and kind of laid on a log and warmed up and had a peanut butter sandwich and RX bar, and just kind of chilled out for a little bit because I was really hungry. So then I was getting ready to move in. I got the strangest text. Apparently there was a trail camera in these trees, and the property owner texted me going, "Hey, is this you?" And it was a picture of me. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And he's like, "Well, the east landowner says you're trespassing on his land, or you're over on his land." And I'm like, getting Onyx out and zooming in, looking. I'm like, no, I'm not. I was for sure to check this out. And I'd never been over there before, but I was checking Onyx, and I'm like, oh, wow, the property line goes all the way here to the east, so I'm just going to follow that over. So I'm firing off pictures of Onyx, and like, well, I'm the blue dot. I'm on this side of the fence. I'm good to go. And long story short, sounds like the neighbors got the trail cam on the wrong piece of property. So for a minute there, I thought, oh crap, what did I do? I thought maybe it was the creek, but no, I was right. So now this guy's got to get his trail cam off. So yeah, so that was kind of a little wild thing that happened in there. So then I snuck over to the north corner and slowly went in there piece by piece, or step by step, just calmly getting in there. The wind would pick up northwest, it would blow hard, and then it would just get dead calm. So then I'd have to just kind of chill. So I use those times to glass a little bit, to just kind of peer in through the brush. That is just the coolest technique to do. If you get in with super thick stuff, get those binoculars out and use your focus ring and focus through the branches and see what's in there. Eventually I got kind of halfway in the middle of the thing, and I was peering through, and I saw a doe ear flick, and I was watching her, and there enough, there's this doe just in there feeding around, standing up, doing her thing. And then I could see this antler move in the light, and it was bedded down like right next to her. And so I was watching that sucker, and I was probably 60 yards away. There's a lot of thick stuff, so I just kept watching and keep an eye on him, and he was just bedded down there. And I was nervous about moving on it because she was up and at it, but he was down. But then I noticed there was another buck that came in, and then they started kind of intertwining their antlers just a little bit, and kind of like rattled them a little bit. And so I didn't know if like a fight was going to go down, so I used that to kind of step my way up. And I got kind of hung up by a tree branch, and I kind of pushed it off, and I was getting set up, and I noticed both of them were up, and they started coming down the trail. The first one was an 8-point buck. He was a smaller 8-point buck, but at this point I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna fill the freezer with this guy. This is what I'm gonna do. So he's coming down the trail, and I'm getting all situated, and the other one is coming back behind. And I thought the other one back behind was bigger, but I kept looking, and he ended up being just this little 6-pointer. But you know, good size male buck. I mean, a lot bigger than a doe. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna shoot this guy that's coming. And he came in close, and he come walking in the trail, and this time I got my shoulder pointed in the right direction, and I am good to go, and I am lined up, gonna take this shot. He clears this tree, and I pull back my bow, and I pulled my nock off the string, and so I got the string, but my arrow's up by my hand, and it's kind of like dangling there, and I'm like, oh shoot. And he stopped. And the other buck that was behind him in the kind of the thicket, he stops. He's watching me. He's like, something was there. That's not good. I'm not moving. I'm like, it just froze. I just decided I'm not even going to move. Well, the guy in the front, the leader, the one that was leading out, the 8-pointer, he just slowly walks by, and he's 5 yards away from me, just walking, and he just kind of stops, and I'm like, okay, well, the guy, the 6-point buck behind, just decides like, well, he's cool, so I'm just gonna move. And so when he tucked back behind a tree where he couldn't see me, I quickly reset my arrow, and the other 8-pointer was already kind of had his butt facing me, and he was walking. And so here comes this 6-point buck, pretty small, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this. I haven't even flung an arrow at a deer yet. So I get my shoulder all pointed, and he comes around and he stops, and I draw back and line it up on his front leg, and fling that arrow. It goes right under his neck, and bang, right into a tree, and he bails. I don't think I got frazzled off the first one, and I'm amazed I was able to reset and even get the bow back. And I don't think I had proper back tension. I think my alignment was decent. I just think I needed to pull just a little bit more, and I don't know if I was just not super focused on the target area of where I needed to go. I thought I was. Obviously, I must not have had full draw, because I had the point of the arrow right where I thought it should go, and it was definitely low. Yeah, I don't know, but I got back in there, man, and there was buck sign everywhere. Buck turds and rub marks all over the place in there. Lots of trails, lots of action. Yeah, so first time firing an arrow at a deer. I just shot at one and totally missed. You know what? It was awesome. I mean, it was great. After that, I kind of just took a deep breath, and I'm like, okay, all right. I did see it. I think it was that doe that was with him. She kind of walked through, and I thought she would have been long gone after all that commotion, but she just calmly walked through, and I grunted a few times because I could hear her. I didn't know if it was a male or female deer at this point, but I grunted a few times, and then she came out, and I think the grunt kind of calmed her down, because she probably heard me, but then heard the grunt like, it's just a buck, whatever. But then she walked out, and I wasn't near ready for another follow-up shot, because I thought the whole area was kind of spooked out there. I mean, I didn't blow my cover, but I thought there would be a little bit more time that would come by. So anyway, I ended up scouting, slowly stalking out, and never been up in that north section. It's kind of a cool section. One other deer got kind of spooked out. I didn't even know where they were at, because I was trying to take my time getting in there, and they kind of bailed on me. So I don't know if it was a buck or a doe. I had no idea. But yeah, that was this journey. This was awesome. It was hard. It was colder, but it was good. We'll try again.